Hello everyone, this is Hunter at Vapor Honing Technologies and Vapor Blast Manufacturing, and today we're going to be discussing our VH2000 that we have behind me here, but we're also going to be discussing why vapor honing is such an advantage whenever it comes to parts like this block here that we have. So first things first, we're going to go over a little bit about this machine. So inside here you can see that obviously you have a huge workspace to work with. The inside here is 40 by 40 by 40. This is great for parts like engine blocks or bigger parts given the amount of depth and workspace you have in this machine. You can also fit things like a 30-inch turntable in here to make blasting heavy pieces like this block a lot easier. Obviously, we don't have one in here right now, but it would definitely help us when we go to blast this part if we had a turntable so we could just rotate and blast this part. Other add-on features that we do have available for this machine would be a heater for greasy and oily parts. Keep in mind that makes your machine a 220 volt single phase machine. We do have an exterior loading station that for heavier parts allows you to load outside of the cabinet and push that cart into the cabinet on a turntable so that you can effortlessly load and you don't have to try to crane parts into the machine. We also have obviously just the turntable, which we already highlighted. It's 30 inches, which is a huge turntable. It allows you to just rotate the part and blast if it's heavy instead of trying to maneuver that with your hands. On this machine, we do have an abrasive density meter, so we're gonna go around the other side of the machine and show you a little bit about how that works. Now, obviously, when you look at the inside here, highlighting the features a little bit, you have the wiper arm for maximum visibility into this cabinet and for you to be able to see at all times while you're blasting. You also have two of the LED light strips in here, so you have maximum and more clear-cut and directional lighting across the entirety of the cabinet. You also have the precision air regulator up here. This controls your airflow to the blast gun inside of the cabinet, so you can set that anywhere between 60 and 100 is what's recommended for a vapor honing machine, but it allows you to easily adjust on the fly if you need to adjust. It's easier to see since it's a lot bigger. So on this side here, we have the abrasive density meter that I mentioned earlier. What this does, if you're in a high production environment, it allows you to easily measure the water to abrasive ratio inside of the cabinet so that you don't have to stop, fill up that measuring beaker, make sure you have 20 milliliters of abrasive to water. This automatically does it for you with a simple pull of this push-pull right here. It allows you to fill it up, and then when you release it, it drains it back out. So on the back here, we do have the automatic overflow valve. What this does is it automatically drains your overflow water inside of the cabinet. So whenever you are blasting, you're adding water through your window rinse and your internal rinse down nozzle, that water has to come out. So what that automatic overflow valve does is after you step off the foot pedal, it counts backwards. Once that timer hits 0, it opens, it releases that water. And once it's done and you step back on the foot pedal, it's gonna close up and you just resume blasting as normal. Now, one of the things that we get a lot of questions on, not specifically just with this cabinet, but with every cabinet that we have, is the open and closed loop system. So open loop is going to require direct water connection. It's going to require a drain source. That could be a floor drain, that could be a 5-gallon bucket, anything that catches water. Now, what this system does is it keeps your water fresher for longer because you're putting new water in through that window rinse and internal rinse and draining old water out through that automatic overflow valve on the back of the cabinet. Closed loop, that's a little bit more of an advantage if you don't have water readily available for the machine. So if you're in a warehouse or a plant that doesn't necessarily have water routed to everywhere or plumbed to everywhere, closed loop would be an advantage for you given that you don't need a water source, you don't need a drain source. It makes everything fully self-contained for you, so that you don't have to worry about that. That's another add-on. The closed loop is $650 more. And if you want to take it a step further on the closed loop, we do have the 2-stage filtration basin. And what this does is it provides more of a filter style instead of a sediment style. So if you have a lot of contaminants coming off of your parts, what happens is you pull that filter paper over the basin, it filters out all those sediments and contaminants and just allows the water to pass through to be recirculated. So it offers you more of a natural filter style versus the standard closed loop, which is more of a sediment style. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about this block and why the vapor honing process is gonna be such an advantage for us here over any other process out there. So what makes vapor honing the process that you will want to blast parts like a block width. The reason that vapor honing has such an advantage over different processes out there like dry blasting is because there's no dust, there's no warping because of heat friction, because when you continuously hit the surfaces of the part with abrasive, it's going to cause heat, which causes friction and it causes warping. There's no tolerance changes, so if you have to reassemble a part, you're not going to have any kind of metal removal. There's not going to be media embedded in the surfaces of your part. This is super important for engine parts like this because if you have a piece of abrasive stuck in your surfaces and that releases into the engine, you risk damaging the whole entire engine. That's a lot of money. So that's a reason vapor honing is more advantageous. Now, as far as this part itself, you can see that this part has a lot of different geometries to it. Now, with vapor honing, the reason that that's such an advantage is because the abrasive's not going to pack in tight areas like this area up here, this threaded area here. It's not going to pack in there. It's going to flow with the water. Now, of course, it may get stuck to the surface, but it's not going to pack. So it's a lot easier to rinse out whenever you're done blasting. Obviously, different surfaces like this up here, it's not going to damage those. It's going to keep the tolerances the same. Threaded areas, not going to damage those. It's going to keep those areas the same. So on the front here, there's a lot of peaks and valleys. So that water and that abrasive mix is just going to so easily flow over all of those peaks and valleys and make it incredibly easy for us to blast this part. So on this side here, you see that there is a letter F here. It's not going to damage the integrity of the part, is the point with saying that. So this letter F, after we blast it, it's gonna look the exact same, but it's gonna come out a lot cleaner. And it's not gonna remove the metal, as stated before. So everything's gonna look the same, just gonna be a lot cleaner here. Greases and oils. The good thing about vapor honing here, if you look on the inside, it's greasy, it's oily. You can do this as a one-step process. So is it recommended? No. Obviously, you want to, if you have the capability, rinse these parts in a parts washer before you put them in a vapor honing cabinet to keep your water cleaner for longer. Now, if it's a necessity for you to do it in a one-step process, you absolutely can. You have to keep in mind this process is wet, it is not dry. So the water is gonna wash away most of that grease, most of that oil. It's gonna completely take that factor out and the media is gonna scrub the surface. So there's not gonna be clumping, your media is not gonna be bad. After it, goes through and hits these greasy and oily spots, you're gonna continuously keep using this abrasive and it's not gonna be garbage and need to be filtered out. So we're gonna blast about half of this part and we're gonna show you the results of what not only this machine, but this process can produce. You have to keep in mind that all of our machines are gonna provide the same end result. It's just a matter of the size and the features that really make the differences in our machines. So we're gonna blast away at this and we're gonna come back when we have it half done and show you guys the difference. So we focused in this upper corner here. We spent about 3 to 5 minutes on this piece of the block. As you can see, it completely wiped off what we were looking to get off and obviously it restored the part to its original integrity. The abrasive we used is an aluminum oxide. It is a finer grade, so it's a little bit more angular, gonna provide a matte finish, be a little bit quicker to cut through all of that grease, oil, buildup, things of that nature. You do also have additives for these cabinets that you can use. There's an antimicrobial that keeps your water from getting a stench to it, corrosion inhibitor that prevents any kind of corrosion on mild steel, cast parts, anything that can corrode or oxidize, it will prevent that. And you also have no pack to prevent your abrasive from packing in the hopper. A bunch of different add-ons here, but obviously this is why vapor honing is ideal for parts like this. It easily gets things done. Obviously, as you can see, touched it up, took it back to bare metal without removing any metal, getting stuck in the metal. But if you guys have any questions on the VH2000 or why vapor honing is such a good process to use, call us here at 828-202-5563.